Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Joyful Mama podcast. I am your host, mom, author, friend, your fearless leader as we journey through finding joy and purpose in motherhood. My name's Morgan Ellis. Thank you so much for being here. We are on my back porch enjoying this really sweltering hot summer day. And if you're somewhere in the South, it is so hot that the pool is boiling, y'all. I mean, like you could fry an egg on our driveway. And I know that sounds crazy, but that is how hot it feels here in sunny Florida. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you're joining me. And we are staring down the barrel of school starting. And it is summertime, it is coming to a close. And as one season ends, a new beautiful one is beginning. But with that, we can start to feel this anxiousness over the beginning of the school year. If you're anything like me, the beginning of the school year is just crazy, chaotic. It's so busy. It's the start of not only school, but a lot of sports, a lot of after school activities kind of start coming back, and it can feel very easily overwhelming. And so I really want today's episode to kind of just feel like a soft landing for your mama heart. We're going to talk about what it looks like to kind of savor these last moments of summer, but embrace the back to school shift and walk into this fall with joy and purpose and not just survival mode. Because if I'm honest, a lot of the summer here in our house has really been survival mode. We've been walking through some really hard, challenging things in our house, and it's why I haven't been here so much. So I'm excited that I'm here in front of you. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening, I'm so glad to be back. And that is what I'm most excited for in the fall, with the return of just some consistency, some schedule, just to have some more concrete rhythms in our house, because summer has just been a bit of a crapshoot. So anyways, grab your iced coffee. I just have a glass of ice cold water so that I don't get dehydrated and pass out on you guys. Or maybe you just have your coffee that has gone cold from this morning. Grab it and lean in. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to the Joyful Mama podcast. I am Morgan Ellis, your host, and this is a space to help moms in the trenches of motherhood find joy. My goal for this podcast is to talk about the good, the hard, and everything in between, so that you can feel less alone and encouraged in this journey of motherhood. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or just put in the headphones while you're doing the dishes or the laundry, and let's find joy in motherhood together. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go. Okay, I want to start here at the beginning of how we can soak up this last couple of weeks of summer. If you're here in the South, school starts in just a couple of weeks. If you're up north, maybe you have a little bit longer. But how can we truly just take a moment and just kind of pause, breathe, and enjoy these last few weeks, these last few moments of summer, and lean into that, being present instead of jumping ahead and getting a little bit excited, a little bit anxious. It's very tempting to just jump into these back to school rhythms and schedules, especially if you're walking the aisles of Target and there's all the school supplies. And it's just, if you're like me, it's not only exciting, but it can get a little bit overwhelming as the calendar starts to fill up in anticipation of a new school year. And so, what if just for a moment we slowed down, And instead of cramming our schedule this fall or these last couple weeks of summer, let's think about how we can savor the moments ahead, right? So think about this week that you have in front of you. What can you savor this week, friend? What are some rhythms or things that have been a part of your summer that you can truly just kind of lean into them and be present? Maybe it's the slower mornings without this rush of having to get out the door. Maybe it's the last minute swimming that you get to do in the pool, or the spontaneous trip to get snow cones or ice cream. Try to find some of those moments this week and in the next couple of weeks before school gets back in session, and just savor them. Live right here in this moment, because we don't have to do it perfectly, and summer doesn't have to just be tied off in this perfect little bow. Maybe you have a summer kind of bucket list and there's going to be things that you haven't gotten to. That's okay. You don't have to do everything, because joy isn't found in completing a list or doing another thing. It's found in just being present in the moment. And so that's a reminder I'm giving to myself, as I very easily fall into this trap of, oh my goodness, school starts in a week and a half. We got to get all the supplies. We got to go do our back to school shopping. We've got all these things to do. But I just need to remember, and I want to remind you, to just let go of some of the things that are coming down the pipeline and live presently in this moment. Before the seasons shift, lean in to where you are. And I just want to remind you that you're not behind, you're not too late. This moment right here is still beautiful. Where you are right now with your kids has the potential to just be amazing. And memories aren't necessarily made in these big, extravagant moments. I mean, we love to travel and we love to take vacations. And last summer we had really big plans, and this summer has been a little bit more simple. And it's still been just as memorable. We are not traveling across the world this summer, but we really have found some beautiful memories of just doing a slip and slide in the backyard, or, going to the beach and watching the sunset, or playing in the rain, or watching movies. We've played so many games. We've found a couple of new games that we'd love to play in our home. I just want to remind you to not compare whatever your summer looks like to maybe what someone else has going on, because there too is a season for that for you. Maybe, you might have a season of getting to travel and getting to do some bigger things, but maybe that's not this summer for you. Maybe that's not this season, and that is okay. So I want to ask you a question, and just to ponder it for a moment before we move into kind of what this bittersweet kind of reality of going back to school can look like, and what we can feel, and all of those things. But think about what made this summer sweet for your family. Think about something specific, and then savor the sweetness of that. Because although we have had a lot of hard things in our home this summer, our mindset can change how we perceive a moment and even a season. And I remind that to myself every day. I can choose to focus on the hard, or I can choose to focus on the good or the beautiful, or I can just choose to find joy, because joy is not dependent on your circumstances, my friends. Let me say that again. Joy is not dependent on your circumstances. Happiness might be, but happiness and joy are not the same. You can choose to find joy even when you're walking through something hard. You can choose joy in your heart, even in the messy, even in the chaos, in the meltdowns, in the constant mundane moments of just everyday life. And although we have been going through something hard, I am choosing to focus and to keep my mindset on the good and how God has grown me as a mom, as a friend, as a mother, as a wife this summer. And He keeps stretching me. And it's hard, guys. I have cried a lot this summer. But that does not make it any less joyful, because God is in the business of taking our mess and making it a masterpiece. And so I believe that fully to the core of my being, that He is going to take this messy, crazy, yucky summer and use it the only way He can, which is for good, for His purposes, to glorify Him. And maybe that's just I get to walk along some other mom someday and give her encouragement and give her hope and share things that we've gone through. One, so that you feel less alone in your hard, but maybe there's tools that we've learned in this process that can help someone else. So God wastes nothing, friend. So if you're walking through hard, I hope that you know that. I hope that you trust that. I hope that you believe that it will not be wasted and it will not be for nothing. Maybe it's to grow, refine you, or maybe it's to bless someone else down the road. I don't know the answer to that. Only God does. So as we kind of move through summer and we're shifting into this new back to school season, it's a little bit weird, right? Like, let's be honest, this season, because we love summer, summer has been fun and free. We're also a little bit excited for, at least I am, for structure, for routine, but we also can be in the same breath kind of sad that summer is coming to an end. And change is always hard. New seasons, although bring so much beauty and blessing, they also can bring some challenges. And back to school time, for sure, in our house, brings a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to behaviors. You might have a kid, a big feelings kid like I do, and the anticipation, anxiety around going back to school, even seeing friends that they love, can bring about some feelings that just come out in big ways. And sometimes that's meltdowns over socks and shoes and getting out the door in the morning. Sometimes it's in needing a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra snuggles before bedtime. And sometimes it comes out in attitude if you have older kids. And so it can be a challenge as we anticipate some of those hard behaviors that come with going back to school and the beginning of a new season. And so you can start to feel a little bit like happy and sad all at the same time. And so I want you to know it's okay to feel all the feelings, right? I think we've been going through lots of feelings in our house, and the feelings are not bad, but we cannot let the feelings, like I tell my kids, you can't let the feelings be in the driver's seat. Okay? So feel the feelings, feel the joy, feel the sadness, feel the relief, the guilt, the excitement, the dread. Motherhood and life is so many times full of contradictions. But do not let the feelings be the driving force of your next season, of your actions. Don't let whatever you're feeling take control and take over. My daughter right now is going through some really, really big feelings, and it's a bit kind of like the Hulk situation. Like, her feelings cause her to turn into a crazy green monster, and you better get out the way because here she comes. And we are working through it. But so many times, that's what happens to us too, moms. Like, we have all of these things going on in our head and in our heart, and all of a sudden, like, a normal thing happens in our day, and we just snap. We can't take another thing. And so to really check in with yourself, check in with your heart, check in with your body, and realize that, okay, these feelings are okay. It's okay for me to feel all these things, but I am not going to lose control. I'm going to realize that I need a little break. I need a little space. I need a little quiet, whatever that is. Take your time, take a moment to reset yourself is so important as we get into especially the busyness of a new school year. And so I think it's been a really good reminder for me in learning over the years that, like, God doesn't want us to just like power through, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and just like, we're going to do it. Like, really, it's okay to rest. It's okay to feel the anxiousness, the anticipation. Like, you can lean in to some of those things and allow God to meet you right there in them and allow Him to help you through it. He's got you, and He's got you in every season, whether you have a brand new preschooler, you're starting school for the first time and you're really anxious, maybe you're going back to work, maybe you're a teacher and now you are also like going back to work, maybe you're a teacher and a parent, now that's like multifaceted levels of stress. Maybe you have an ingoing kindergartner, maybe you have a middle schooler, a high schooler. Whatever season you're in, there's always something to be worried about. Whether you're worried that they're going to make friends, or you're worried that they're not going to fit in, or you're worried about grades. There are so many things for us as moms to be worried about that can end up just like taking over us. And we can really allow those worries to be in the driver's seat of all the decisions we're making. And so, but we are called, friends, to not fear. I can't remember how many times it is, but it's in the Bible so many times. God reminds us, do not fear. Why? For I am with you. For He is with you. He is helping you. He is with your children. And so it's why prayer is always the greatest tool in our toolbox, because there is so much power in prayer. Not only does it help us posture our hearts to God's heart, it gives us an outlet to release some of those feelings that we're feeling that might be overwhelming us, but it really, really helps us release control. Because guess what? I can't control whether my kid fits in. I can't control the grades they get. I can't control the fact if they get into on the school play or on the team. Those are things I can't control. What I can control is how I respond to some of those things that happen in their life. And I can encourage them, if they don't make the team, to work hard and try again next time. If they don't fit in with this group, to look for another group. to just, I've had to learn, especially parenting has taught me this so well, and I'm still a work in progress for sure, to respond, not react. And I think when our feelings are in the driver's seat, we react. And there are still a lot of times that I react to things, that I just let my feelings and my emotions get the better of me. But when I take a moment to pause, I really can respond maturely and adequately to the situation. And it just is better all around versus reacting out of fear, anxiety, worry, all those things. We should never let any of those things be in our driver's seat. And so there is a verse in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1, that is so good. That's just such a good reminder for us, especially as we're moving into a new season, back to school. And it says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And so may this be a reminder that this season, although can be crazy, it also can be beautiful. And even though these transition into something new can bring about some big feelings, we don't have to let those feelings drive the car of our family, right? So, and that kind of brings me to my next point with behaviors, especially with back to school. Like when we're shifting gears, there can be this big wave of emotion. And so how can we kind of like practically do some things as we close out the summer and prepare for the fall, prepare for back to school, prepare for a little bit fuller calendars? How can we practically get ready for some of those things? Because those are the things we can control, right? I can't control X, Y, and Z, but I can control, maybe we're going to rein back in bedtime a little bit because we've been staying up a little bit later. And maybe we're going to rein back in the screen time because we've been watching a little bit too much TV or doing too much gaming. And if you can slowly like backpedal a few of those things to get ready for new rhythms in the school year, I think it can help your kids so much with that transition as well. Because so often, and here's a big truth that I have learned and that I keep learning, is that the behavior, especially for our kids, but for us too, is communicating something. It's communicating something deeper that's going on in their hearts. And often our kids are not trying to give us a hard time. They might just be having a hard time. Let me say that again. Your kids aren't trying to give you a hard time. They're just having a hard time. And I know that that is really hard as the parent who wants to run a tight ship. Maybe you are a type A parent and you are like, doop, 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 everything, schedule, everything must be as it is. Maybe you're a type B parent and you're just like, whatever, everybody do whatever. Or maybe you're somewhere in the middle, like me, where there are some things that are kind of by the book and we have to have a schedule, we have to have a routine, and there's other things that you're just like, we'll let it go. It's fine. I really feel like life is all about balance. So maybe finding a little bit of balance of those two things is a healthy place to land. But we have to learn to kind of walk through this next season through a lens of grace, because your kids might be having a hard time and they might not know how to tell you that. They might be a little more clingy if they're little as they go back to school. And it's just because they love you. You are their safe place. And I want to encourage you as a mom who has walked through, oh my goodness, so many things, especially with the little guys when they were little, that when they're clingy and they're falling apart and they are just freaking out, it's such a good thing when that's to you. And I know that that's really hard because there are so many times when we have this expectation that it's going to go a different way and it doesn't. And so I'm learning to let go of expectations slowly. Maybe one day I'll have it figured out, but it really means that you are their safe place. And it means that you have created a home and an environment that allows them to feel those feelings and to get to that complete, exhausted, out of control place. And I know that that's hard, and I'm reminding myself of this too, but it's such a beautiful thing that you have created for your kids, the ability to fall apart. Like they know that you are going to love them no matter what. And so you kind of turn into the punching bag, or you turn into that place where they get to fall apart. And so what a beautiful privilege that you get to walk through some of these hard moments with your kids because they trust you. Because they know that even though they can't handle their feelings, you are not afraid of them. I hope that that helps you see that instead of trying to discipline and correct your kids through maybe all the hard moments that might be coming in the next few weeks as we get back into school, that you would kind of lean into them and encourage yourself and them that it's going to be okay, that you guys are going to get through this together. Because what could encourage or comfort your kids more than knowing that you as their parent are not afraid of their big feelings, that you can somehow handle them too, and that you are going to walk with them through it. And I think that's why parenting has really softened me as a person over, the last 12 years of being a parent, is that it really has given me such a fresh perspective on who God is as our Father, as our parent, because how often are we at the end of ourselves, falling apart, can't take one more thing, throwing our own tantrums, digging our heels in, doing all of the things that our kids do to us sometimes. And it's such a beautiful reminder that God is bigger than anything we face. He's bigger than our feelings. He's bigger than our fears. He can handle them. We can bring them to Him. He is not afraid or put off by anything that we're struggling with. And it's so encouraging to me as a woman and as a mom that I'm never alone walking through all of the hard things that I walk through. I've always got God on my side, at my back, carrying me when I can't take another step. And it is a privilege and an honor to be a parent, because you get to not only be that for your kids, and you're not going to do it perfectly. We are not God. We will not do it perfectly, but we get to point them to the perfect one as we rely on Him to help us. And what an honor. It blows me away every time. There is another verse that I want to share that I pulled out that I thought really goes with some of these big feelings and big things that we're going to be walking through in the next couple of weeks. And it comes from Romans chapter 12, verse 12. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. And I don't think that's just good advice. I think it's a rhythm that we can carry into our home, that we can have joy, we can be hopeful, right? Like we can be joyful in hope because we know that even if this is a hard season coming up, that it won't last forever. We can be patient in affliction, even if the affliction looks like lunchbox drama or bedtime battles. Or maybe it's bigger things, right? Like maybe your affliction is these big feelings kids having really bad attitudes or really big meltdowns or really struggling finding their place at school. Those are real, but we can be patient as we wait on the Lord, as we wait for Him to walk with us through it. And we can be faithful in prayer because God cares about every detail. He's walking with you through everything. And so faithfully keep praying because our prayers are always heard. They never fall on deaf ears. Now, sometimes the answer to our prayers is no. Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes the answer is not yet. And so we have to wait patiently through whatever it is we're praying for, knowing that God's timing is not our timing. His ways are not our ways. But He is faithful and He is good, and we can trust Him that He's working in all the things to glorify Him and for not only our best, but our kids' best. And although as their parents, we sometimes feel like we know better, God knows better. He really, really does. And so we have to trust if there's like a hard thing that your kid's walking through, that He also will not waste that. There are things that He is writing in your kid's life that we have no idea. That it could be something for 50 years from now when we're dead and gone. Maybe we're still around. But either way, we are not God. So we're never going to do it perfectly, but we also can't know all the intricacies that He's working in and out of our life, in and out of our kids' life. And so we have to just trust Him. All right. Now, how do we make all of this? Let's wrap it up and make it a little practical. If you are a note taker, if you're a practical person like I am, like how can we take some practical steps to kind of reset and reposition, find new rhythms in our home as we gear up for the fall? And I think one, we're going to start small. And we're not going to like overhaul everything at once. I've actually been a bit guilty of that this summer, and it's been overwhelming. And I've been like cleaning out every room in our house and just trying to like get rid of stuff we don't need and reorganize. And it's been so good to get things really, really organized. But I will say, I think I've gotten rid of a few things that I probably shouldn't have. And I've had to own that. So start small. Don't overhaul everything at once. And let's just start with like one rhythm at a time, right? Like maybe your bedtime for your kids during the school year, you try to make it 8:30, and over the summer it's creeped to 9:30, 10 o'clock. Like, all right, let's start with like reining it in, like one baby step at a time. Maybe we start at 10 minutes. Like, okay, hey guys, we have to get ready for school starting. I know it's a bummer, but we have kind of let bedtime creep a little bit later than especially what we like to do in the fall and with the school. So I know we've been going to bed at like 9:30. You know, for the next couple of nights, we're going to go to bed at 9:20 or 9:15. And then by next week, we're going to have it back to 9. And, you know, a couple of days of 9 o'clock bedtimes. Hey guys, we're going to get back to 8:30. And maybe you're not tired. Maybe you're not ready to like go to bed, but lights are going to be out at 8:30 so that we can get our bodies ready for getting up earlier and setting ourselves up to have a good day when we get back to school. So start small. Start with just one little thing at a time. Maybe you can create a little checklist on the fridge. If you have younger kids where they have a little list of things that they can do to help them get ready for bed, or maybe to help them with the new routines of the morning, because maybe mornings have moved really slow and you've just been like la-di-da, and by the time you're out of pajamas it's 10:30 in the morning, 11:30, and that's not going to be, reasonable when you have to get out the door by 7:45 in the school year. So maybe there's a checklist you can have where you can start going to bed a little bit earlier, waking up a little bit earlier to kind of get them ready for that. But maybe now it's like, okay, guys, here's our checklist. We're going to wake up, we're going to get ready, we're going to eat breakfast, we're going to put our shoes on. And hey, when it's school time, that means we'll be time to, be getting ready to leave the house, but it's still summer. Let's practice doing all these things. But then, hey, we don't have to be anywhere. So now, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Do you want to now be ready and we go to the park? Or, hey, we're ready, but now we're just going to sit and play a game. That does take a bit of intentionality on your part as a parent, but I think that there's ways that you can kind of help your kids get back into that rhythm without just like, all right, first day of school, let's go, and everybody's just falling apart. Because I have tried that, it doesn't work well, and it definitely does not make for a positive first day of school. So to kind of start small, rein it back in slowly, so that way when you get to the first day of school, it's maybe an exciting and a good day instead of a hard day. And then number 2, I think this one is super hard that I keep learning and I keep coming back to, but it's to connect before you correct. And so the transitions can make kids feel, uncertain or unseen sometimes. So let's slow down and let's make some time and some space to really connect with our kids. Maybe it's a few extra minutes snuggling before bedtime, or snuggling in the morning while you're drinking a cup of coffee on the couch and they come and snuggle with you. Maybe it is creating some sort of fun secret handshake between you and your kid that you get to do when you drop them off at school. I think to remember that the root of an emotion, to find the root of an emotion with your kid, that really comes to, like I said earlier, to respond versus react. And so creating moments of connection, I think, can help you do that. It has helped me. It's really hard, but to find time that really connects you, that is fun, there's no agenda, and it's just a sweet moment for you and your kids. So that way, when you have to correct them or you have to discipline them, or, they are giving you attitude that is a type of behavior that you don't accept in your home, that it's not feeling like it's because you don't love them or that you don't like them. And there might be seasons where you don't like your kids so much, but if you have those points of connection, it helps the correction and the discipline just land better, in my opinion. And so the last thing is to speak peace into the chaos. Mama, you have the ability to set the tone for your home. And so you can set a tone of anxiousness, of frustration, of hurry, of hustle, of just all the negative things, because maybe that's what you're feeling on the inside. So that's why it's so important for you to find time to kind of recalibrate yourself and to reset yourself so that you can set a tone in your home that is positive, that hopefully is calm, that can encourage your kids through some of the anxious feelings they might be having, that you can be a little bit of a steady for them. And that doesn't mean you're never going to raise your voice. That doesn't mean that you're going to do it perfectly. You're a human being. And so I think being honest with your kids is really helpful too. Just to say, guys, like, I know this is hard, but we are on the same team. We are a team together. So what do teams do? They cheer each other on. They help one another, and they work together to accomplish a goal. And so what's your goal? What are your family goals? Maybe that's something you sit down and talk about before school starts. Like, what are our family goals for this new school year? And how can we get there? How can all of us help each other accomplish these things and just have a really wonderful year ahead? I think it's so hard and it can feel real heavy, but it's also such an honor that we get to model for our kids what it can look like to work through the big feelings and the frustration. And that doesn't mean we save them from all the hard things. I think learning the hard way is a very good life lesson. And there's a lot of times, right, where no one's coming in to save you when something hard is happening, maybe at work or with a family member or anything like that. And so to really model and kind of give them a picture of what it can look like to walk through a frustrating situation is a gift we can give our kids, because I truly believe they learn more from what they see than from what they are told. And so we can tell them to take deep breaths all we want, but if we don't breathe ourselves when we're going through hard things, they're not going to do it. Or if we tell them that, hey, I think you need a moment to gather yourself, but then instead of us taking the time we need, when we are at capacity, we snap and explode on the people around us, they're going to just do what we model. And that's a really hard pill to swallow, especially for me, because I never really thought of myself as like an exploder or a person who kind of snapped, but I definitely have reached my breaking point a lot of times, and I don't always talk in the kindest tone, especially to the people I love the most. And so it's really convicting, and really, I want it to be an encouragement, though, to do something different, to know that, hey, mom, you get to set the tone for your house. And so what kind of tone do you want to set for your house? And let that start with you. And I think that's why it's so important when you're creating these new rhythms to give yourself time and space to get your head on right before the day starts. That can really just look like having some quiet time in the morning, some devotions for yourself, maybe get up earlier before the kids. I know it's really hard, especially if you have high schoolers and they're off to school at 7 o'clock in the morning. And if you're not a morning person, but there really is something to be said about starting your day with the Lord and starting your day in prayer and posturing your heart and allowing God to kind of come in and say, God, you already know what I'm going to face today. Help me, guide me, be with me, control my tongue, control my thoughts. Help me to model how you would respond in this situation. I mean, to have all those conversations with God before the kids even get up in the morning is only going to bless you. I promise. And I know that it's hard. But new rhythms, new routines, although they might be challenging and they might take time to set in motion, they are possible. You can do it. You have to want it. So maybe you can slow down your evenings also. Like maybe you can go on a family walk or even get some one-on-one time with the kid. Like if you have multiple kids and go on a walk, like I don't think we have to make this big or hard to kind of create these rhythms of rest that will set a tone for just a healthier home, a more positive home, a place where your kids want to be. I don't know about you, but I want the house where not only my kids, but where all the kids, where they want to be. I want to create an environment that is fun, that is inviting, that is relaxing, that allows you to just say, come on in, take your shoes off, put your feet up. Like, you are welcome here in this house, no matter who you are. And so, how do I set the tone for that? Well, I think it starts with me, right? It starts with me living that out and really not putting so much pressure on the house being perfect, and understanding that if I want a house where a lot of people gather, there's going to be messes. There's going to be an empty fridge sometimes. But to even understand setting the tone of that is like me inviting people into our home and into our space and into my space and being inconvenienced. And so that's something that I have to work through, because that is a family goal of ours. And that's a big goal of mine and my husband, that we would create a home and a space where our kids feel loved, feel like they can be themselves, and want to be. And I hope and I pray that as you guys create that in your own homes, that that is their safe place, so that they can go out, they can go into school, they can go into this new season grounded, because they know that they belong where you are, in your home. And if you come from a divided home, you can still give them that. You can still remind them every day. You can set the tone and tell them verbally, write them little notes, all the things, and remind them of how loved they are, how cherished they are, and how they belong. I think something that keeps coming up in my world, especially with my kids and other kids, is we all just want to know that we belong somewhere, that we belong, that we're not too much, we're not an inconvenience, that there's someone who loves us unconditionally. We all just feel like we want to belong. And so giving your kids that reminder and that space and that home, even if it's just with you, to know that they are loved and belong, will set them up to have just a better school year. Because even if they don't fit in at school, or they're struggling in other areas, they'll know you've always got their back. And that's huge. And so I just want to encourage you as you go into this new school year, and I want to remind you that you are a good mom. You are allowed to grieve the end of this one season while you also feel excited for the next one. You are not behind. You are not alone. And you've got this. Don't lean on your own understanding. Don't lean on your own power and your own strength, but lean on the one who has it, the one who's holding it all in the palm of his hand. Lean into him. Trust him. He is guiding you. He is walking with you. And he is with you every step of the way. And so I want to end this episode with one last piece of scripture that I just hope you take it into this school year. And it is Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Mama, you are a vessel of hope and a beacon of light into the world around you, into the schools, into the friend groups, into your churches, into your families. May you set a tone of joy this school year. May your heart just be overflowing with the gratitude of what Jesus has done for all of us, but specifically for you. Would that be the overflow of your heart? Would that be where you find hope and joy and peace? Because there is joy to be found, even in the chaos of motherhood. But it's a choice. Let me pray for you. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for every mom, every family, every kiddo represented to those who are listening. Will you go before us? Will you allow us to just savor the last bit of sweet summer? Would you ease and calm any anxious hearts as we move into this next season, into this new school year? Will you just go before each of us? Give us peace, give us joy, give us hope that no matter what comes, no matter how hard this next season may be, that we stay anchored and secured to you, knowing that you are using all things for good, that you are writing a beautiful masterpiece, that you are taking our messy lives and making them beautiful. And we're so grateful for the opportunity to love on these kiddos you have entrusted us with. So we give all the glory and honor and praise to you, Jesus, and we just love you so much. And we pray for a wonderful back to school. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much, friends, again for being here. I am always just honored and humbled that you would spend any amount of time out of your busy lives just with me here on my back porch, at my kitchen table, wherever we meet. I'm just so thankful for you. So if you have been encouraged by this episode, would you take a second to share it with another mom or a friend who's also maybe navigating the back to school hustle and feelings and chaos? And if you haven't already, it would just mean so much to me if you would take a moment and leave a review, because it helps more moms find the Joyful Mama podcast. And until next time, remember that you are loved, you are not alone, and there is joy to be found right here, right now. Love you, Mama. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you feel a little less alone and a whole lot of encouragement. It is such a joy to be here and be on this journey of motherhood together. If you liked what you heard, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And don't be shy, come connect with me over on social media or at morganaellis.com. Thank you so much again for listening. May you always find joy, even in the chaos of motherhood.